Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Jacob Israel is here. I'm sure you weren't expecting me. I wasn't expecting to be here myself, but with the stuff that is now all over the place, we need to discuss. And discuss we will, because there's a lot happening today, which is why I titled it Remember the 15th of November. Probably remember that from that movie. Take a look at this thumbnail. And we're going to get right into this, because before we talk about the thing that has everybody freaked out, let's talk about today's announcement. This is something that a lot of people are anxiously waiting. What's it going to be, right? Some people think he may announce his running mate, which I think would probably be a little bit too soon for that. You got to tell me in the live chat. Also, I wouldn't mind it if you tell me if you hear me okay, if everything's sounding all right, and if you don't mind giving me one of them thumbs up. I've been working real hard for y'all, and it helps, especially with this show, because we're going to cover a lot of stuff that's going on in those areas that make YouTube not want to recommend the place at all, you know? But thank you for coming. Thank you for coming for sure, and let's get into this as long as everything sounds okay. It's definitely one of those days. He is set to launch his comeback, they say, possibly. Donnie Darkened never disappoints. If you haven't followed him on Twitter, you probably should. He's a friend of the channel, watches the show, and shares some really interesting things. Can always count on Donnie to make some kind of connection with the old 666, and of course, the Trumpster does not fail. Of course, Donnie wrote, Donald Trump said that hopefully today will turn out to be one of the most important days in the history of our country. Ironically, we also know that there's a couple of a barrage that is probably left the country that we are, doing everything in our power to fund and help. It's a big deal what just happened, and the governments of the world, NATO, and all of them, they're all getting together, and they may make some announcements themselves. And this is coming as I'm doing the show. We're getting all sorts of new information as well. But I wanted to start with this because I just find this to be so incredibly interesting. That today of all days is is going to be a most important day in our history. Is that true? Is that true? Well, let's take a look at what Donnie figured out before we get into the story of the day, probably of our lifetime. As a lot of people think that this may be something that is no bueno, if you know what I mean. Not going to be good. Not going to be good if these things continue on as they seem. Whew. A lot of people seeing commercials already for Trump's return, but it is from January 19th, 2021 to Tuesday, November 15th. That would be today, exactly 666 days. Very cool that that's going on. I don't know if you saw my I'm working hard today, guys and gals, and whoever you are, whatever you want to be. I have I just did a little YouTube short about what's going on right now at the old, Mount Sinai. I don't know if you saw that short. If you haven't seen that short, make sure that you check it out, because it is it's interesting what's going on. Their new 10 climate commands, if you will, at the foot of Mount Sinai. When this is just all going on at the same time, I find it incredibly interesting. But Donnie figuring this out, wow, this was something else, huh? Something else. Of course it would have to be, right? Of course it would be 666. Not to mention, there's so many issues going on with the Trump organization at the moment. Lots of things are happening, which I think is incredibly, we'll say, telling for the spiritual climate of the world. We have former CFOs testifying. We have all sorts of updates Which is really something else. But you know what today is? Today's the release of Pence's book. That's right. He's released the book. And you want to know what the name of the book is? It's So Help Me God. Because of course, you know, he's such a man of God, or at least he declares himself to be. This is just such theater, in my opinion. That's why I titled it The Finale Begins. You know, of course, you saw in the thumbnail. I'll pull this back up so you can take a look. You can take a look right there. You see the Oscar being handed to. That's right. And the Oscar goes to he's a big actor. His name actually means green ruler or young ruler that is green. Green ruler of the world. That's what it means. Very interesting. Green. Everything's green. Even the picture that they had for the 10 Commandments, the 10 climate repentance deals, they were green. Just it's a fun time to be alive. If you don't feel that way, well, don't worry, because the apocalypse has not been canceled. That's in the Atlantic today. This is big news, of course, because there are so many people that are. It's a party divided. The world is so divided right now. You know, what's it gonna be? Is the governor of Florida and Trump, are they gonna go head to head? Is Ron DeSanctimonious and the Trumpster, are they going to be an issue? Is it all theater? Is there something to it? Because right now you see a lot of people pulling away, one after the other, saying, we don't want this. Oh, he's hurting the party and all of this. I'm just sitting back and I'm saying, oh yeah, well, let's put the screws to people a little bit more and mess with their emotions a little bit more. And of course, the day of his big announcement will be 666 later. I'm sure that there's no witchcraft in the MAGA hat that is being worn. Something weird, right? Something weird. Do you know what an apocalypse is? It's not just about, boom, 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 and everything goes, to hell in a handbasket. It's a revealing. Okay, it's a revealing, and that revealing has not been canceled. So like when I see these articles and when I see these news briefings, and of course we're going to get to this. This is the big thing, is the reports of what happened right now in that Polish village. Not supposed to happen, it wasn't supposed to happen. This big barrage, it's one of the biggest strikes that have happened in a long period of time. A grain area, and of course, dealing with the energy sector in that country, which would be bad because it's very cold. I mean, I'm wearing the hoodie because it's a little cold here. It's starting to get that way, right? So isn't war a horrible, monstrous thing? Isn't it? The lengths that people go to, and who are the ones that suffer, right? Who are the ones that suffer? Is it the elites? As they go to their climate summit in their jets, and then they say that, we should be on a credit system where, do you fly too much, or do you play video games too long? Do you cross the street where you're not supposed to cross the street? Like the social credit system that's in that country that we know very well, the Red Dragon. Is that going to be here? Are we going to be taxed on this and taxed on that? Do we got to pay a tax on the air? That's all of this stuff happening now. It's a very interesting time to be alive. And you know what's trending, of course? That's right. You can read it for yourself. It's highlighted there. Thank you very much, Carrie Padigo. I think God rules, but Carrie says that I rule. I appreciate that. I'd like to rule and reign with Christ, so I'll take it. Thank you, Rich, of course. You'll notice I'm doing a little better job today, and I want to make sure that I don't miss anybody, Like I say before, if I'm ever missing something because I haven't had my second screen set up, which I'm working on, so I don't miss anything in the live chat, make sure and email me so I can thank you personally. The big thing that helps the most is you just hitting that like button, like literally taking a second and liking this video like right now. That tells the computer and robot powers that be, I can't even say the word, to recommend it to more people so that they can come on over, and maybe, I don't know, find that there's nothing to fear but fear itself. All these crazy things that get us into our lowest form of thinking, to be ruled by that brainstem, that serpent that's hanging from the tree. Listen, we have victory, and all of these things that are playing out, I think they're happening for a reason. A good reason is, of course, that, we're going to probably see more money go over to aid this country. And you'll notice their flag, of course, was that trident. Remember, before all this started happening, remember those days, not like too long ago, when I kept seeing the trident everywhere? The trident was everywhere, and we talked about it on the show, what it really meant. Was it the psyche, or was it the devil's pitchfork, or, was it Poseidon? All of these things. It's literally on display for us right now, and they're asking for more aid, and they're probably going to get it. And a lot of people, of course, are suffering and struggling. Things are more expensive than they've been. I know for me, it's this is a crunch, And to add to that is the fact that, for whatever reasons, my Crohn's, my AS, they've been super flared up. You probably wouldn't know that because I hide it well, But I've been super, and I think that that's just because the Earth right now is in flux, and I kind of feel like right now we're at a big moment, a moment that makes some people cringe, like when Sean Penn gave his Oscar to, the ruler, the green ruler, the world ruler, the green horse of the apocalypse, right? Guy who did videos in high heels and played the piano with his privates. That's the guy. Played the piano with his privates. That's the guy. It's the guy. So he gives him the Oscar for his performance as the president of that country, which is, of course, I'm not saying anything to the effect that this isn't, because I don't know anything. I was telling Noah this today. We were going to the gym, and I was saying, all this stuff. He's been very anxious because he helps produce the show, and he'll send me info, and he gets very down in the dumps when he sees all this. And I think to myself, well, that's not great. If we just constantly find ourselves stuck on negative information all the time, it's going to bring us down. It's going to bring us down. But we're in that final moment. We're in the moment right now where everybody's going to scream now. That's it. It's going to happen. How long have we been saying, it's going to happen? I don't mean we, because I'm not going to be one of the people that are going to say that. I'm going to continue to say things are going to move along because it's all part of the plan. Everybody's so scared. I think that they think that they got their plan already underway when those guidestones came down. It's either that or there's another faction of individuals that is like, it's not going to happen. Today, we reached 8 billion people. I don't know if you know that. I'm going to try to pull this up on Twitter if I can. But let's talk about the fact that right now in Lithuanian presidents, like every inch needs to be defended. A couple of people passed away. This is, it's not a joke. People get hurt. Lives are destroyed, ruined. Migrant crisis. It's horrible. Food, water. This is not great. And of course, now that we see all of this happening, we worry, well, it's going to escalate. We worry, it's going to... I just think that I don't think it's going to be exactly what everybody says it's going to be. So I want everybody to calm down a little bit, especially when you got the guy who got the Oscar for his performance. He snubbed them at the G20, which is going on. All of these things. He calls it the G19 now. That's his snub, the G19. Oh. And does he have another outfit, really? He's got to have another outfit, right? Does he always have to wear that same zip-up hoodie? That's a look, right? It's almost like a costume. It's a look. I know, it's a look. Charlotte would say that's a vibe. It wouldn't be a vibe that I'd want. I don't like seeing things trending this way, I don't like it at all. What I do know, though, is that we're going to be okay, and we're going to get to where we need to go at the same time. It's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's take a look here. Let me see if I can get any new information about this, because it's spooky. Let me just read this to you. So, they hit a grain facility. I find that to be very, very interesting. Very interesting. It was their biggest barrage, and they some of them crossed into Poland. I think it was 2 people passed away. 2, duality. 2 people. It's terrible. The government said that this is they didn't immediately confirm the information, but it seems like this is what's happening, and it seems like everything is going to become more stressful. And if it does, it does. There's not much you can do about these things except for put your faith in more and understand that everything is going to be okay. Even though it seems like it isn't. This is the way it always looks right before the day starts to rise. When the day starts to rise, everything gets dark, everything's spooky, everything's terrible. So I'm not feeling like I need to, go into the shelter. I don't have one, but I'm not feeling like that's next. But I do know that there's a big show that I'm working on, which has to do with this FTX fiasco. This is good. This is my next big live stream, and it's huge, and it's connected to so many things. And ironically, well, not ironically, I did a show about what was going to happen on 11/11. It's titled 11/11, which is ironic. And when you see all of these little details, all these things coming together and lining up, and then you see it actually playing out, I feel like either there's some kooky algorithm that is, and I said the word, that's all right. That's all right. It is what it is. We got to be so careful with what we say today. It's so sad. So sad, but that's all right. It's all right. We're going to get through. We're going to get through. But it's amazing to see something just continues to feel like, hey, take a look over here. Hey, take a look. And then I was explaining to Noah how I'll see something and it'll resonate with me. So I'll snap a little picture and then I'll wait for confirmation of it. We have to learn to listen to that inside voice, people. This is a trait that has helped a lot of people, a lot of successful people that learn from within. Like, if you're getting a prompting, hey, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe you should listen. Take a step back and maybe think about that for a second, especially if what you were thinking of doing is going to harm another person or you're lashing out in anger. We need to take a step back, take a breather, not think the worst, and realize we have a lot more control than we've been told. Listen to that inside voice, listen to that. It's like God whispers to you. He's not found in the big storm. He's not found in a breaking news. The rockets, they hit and they landed. It is all going to be, rah, rah, rah. You're not going to hear God there. You're not going to find peace there. And the whole idea is, man, we need to find peace. We need to get away from all of this anxiety. The more people that can be calm and level-headed in their thinking, these are the kind of leaders we have, the more we will find peace flourishing in the land. Right now, it's not a peaceful time. Right now, this is like the Exodus. I've been telling everybody this story for a long time. That's why I find it's not strange at all. Let me see if I can pull up this the YouTube short that I just did. And let me play it for you just to give you kind of an idea. Let's make sure that it is, let me pause that. Okay. Just to give you an idea of what's happening, because it's this is really just crazy that all of this is happening at the same time. Display transfer. Let me just turn this over. I wasn't expecting to do this. Give me a second, everybody. Tell me all how you doing in the chat. That's a good thing. It's always a nice thing. Hopefully you hit that like. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, listen, you should be subscribed to the channel. You just should. All right, so I'm starting to do these shorts more. So let's just take a look. Let's see if it'll play. Let me just pause that for a second. You'll notice, I believe it was Lisa or somebody sent me a picture saying, can you believe they showed this to us in our faces? And I'm like, yeah, I did cover this. if you look at the top of the COP, this is going on right now. COP27, this is their climate thing. If you look at the top, you'll see those are like the hands of Ra, like that's the sun god reaching down. And you look below, same thing. So I did this short. Let's pause that for a second too. Okay, these are their 10 principles. So now let me just, before I get back over to here, let me just remind you, okay, because this is fascinating to me. The story of the Exodus of Egypt is, the first you had the plagues that came on the land, right? So we literally had this happen. We literally had it play out. And there were some that put the blood over the doorpost when the angel of death came. There, I have a video on the plagues of Egypt. How it's a great revealing of what goes on internally with us. Like the darkness is complete ignorance. Like the day that we learn that we don't know anything. That darkness, that was a plague that came on Egypt. And then the last one was the death of all of the firstborn in all of Egypt. Now, remember, not the firstborn in Israel. It was a picture of Egypt being like this system, this world system. So like we were birthed into the system. We were given like a number in the system, and we became like that firstborn. That firstborn, though, has to pass away, has to lay down its life to be born again into Christ, which would be a picture of the firstborn of Israel being set free. So when the firstborn in Egypt and everyone dies, that's when finally you're set free from being dependent on the system. That's the moment that we're in. Doesn't mean that you still don't go to the grocery store and everything else. It just means spiritually right now you understand your source of life is not this system. You can't trust this system. Look at the maniacs at the wheel, right? You can't trust them. So what happens? You need a little guidance. So at this moment in time in the story, if we were Israel being set free, they would bring down the 10 commandments. Moses would come down. But what happened was everybody was worshiping Baal. Everybody was worshiping the golden calf. They're worshiping the wealth. They're worshiping the system, right? They were trusting in what they had, their material. Give me your gold. Give me your silver. Aaron burnt it down, made a golden calf out of it, a golden bull. The bull that we saw at the Commonwealth Games, the bull that we've talked about again and again and again, the bull of Wall Street. It's right there in our faces. And right now would be the time when we should receive the 10 Commandments. And I just find it irony that they literally, all the religious leaders got together at that very same place in the moment when we would get those, like spiritually speaking, from God. And they're doing their own thing. And their own thing is, I got to tell you, it's not that great, in my opinion. Because, look at them. We're stewards of this world. Creation manifests destiny. Right? Okay? That's good. Everything in life is interconnected. I'm not disagreeing with any of this stuff. Do no harm. You know that one right there is a big one in a religion that many people have a problem with. But don't harm other people. Jesus did say, right? He did say, do unto those as you want done to yourself. Look after tomorrow. Rise above ego for our world. That sounds a little new age for all the religious leaders in the world. Rise above ego. I don't really think the leaders in this world are trying to help people realize who their ego is. I think what they're trying to do is make people think that they're God themselves. Change our inner climate, this is about climate change on the outside. So it's literally happening. Repent and return. But return to who? Climate repentance to the earth, not to our creator, which is much higher and more important in my eyes. Because if you believe that everything came from one thing and that there is a plan, and then you understand that, we were placed here to become one with that plan and to carry it out, well, man, what happened? We got kicked out of the garden. Every action matters. Use mind, open heart. And a lot of people are having a problem with this because they're calling it the 10 Commandments. So like, the 10 Commandments of Moses, they weren't good enough. So now we came up with our own. It's climate repent. It's probably just one of those staged things that they do, like going in and throwing paint on great works of art. It's all theater. And the Oscar goes to, it's all theater. So when we see stuff like this and when we hear people talking about, trending right now on Twitter it's the end of everything. Remember, we don't really know the end from the beginning, but God does. And just because it seems like everything is going to hell in a handbasket doesn't mean that because something like this happened, that's what's going to happen. We don't know. We don't know. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Instead, what we should do is get our houses in order. And maybe something like this isn't such a bad thing if it brings about some kind of change. I just don't feel, you tell me in the comment section or in the live chat, I just don't feel like those people that are in charge right now, I don't feel like they really care too much about all of us. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. But it is what it is, and there's not much that we can do, so we shouldn't be scared. But what we should do is come together. And that's it. I have a big show coming for you. If you're not subscribed to the channel, will you please do? Will you please? It's important. Tell people about it. Share the video around. And feel free on this video, if you get any new news, I should probably just check to see if there's anything new that just came out. If you get any new news, share it below, okay? We have all these updates coming in, and it still seems like, now that here, let's pull up what Barron's just wrote. Hang on, because the plot thickens and continues to change. Now they're saying that it's not exactly what you think. So they're denying it. It's landed in Poland. Okay. Now promotes a theory that it was allegedly a missile of them. It wasn't Russia. It was them that went into that territory, and they're saying it's not true. So that's the I guess that's the new news is that they're saying it wasn't us. It wasn't us. It wasn't us. And we won't know, right? Because you'll have 18 different channels saying 18 different things. And by 18, I mean like 18 million because, we got 8 billion people on the planet now. Eight, that number, big one, the Ouroboros, the beginning and the end. Wouldn't that be the time, right? Wouldn't that be the time? And we're in that, literally speaking, that seventh day. We're in that day when God rests. We're literally like approaching it. Like this is what they would say is the end of days, if you will. The harvest is coming, the good one. I believe that the harvest is happened for a lot of us already, so don't get stressed out. This is an inside thing, and God is to be trusted. I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Please hit that like button and leave a comment on the way out and share the channel around. I'll talk to you soon. Don't be scared. Pray for each other. Love each other. Make up with each other. Get back together with each other. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. Get your house in order. Take care of here and then start working outward. Okay? Stop thinking you can fix the outward. You just got to worry about this little light of yours, right? Let it shine. Let it shine and tell the world about the channel for me, will you? I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.